I must say that I'm working from home and I've never worked so hard in my life. People all around want the lockdown to end just so they can relax a bit. So do you find that people are just as productive as earlier, if not more productive? And will you relook at whether everybody needs to go to work physically ever again after the pandemic is over? The new normal, work from home.
We're finding that our programmers are actually more productive than they ever have been in terms of checking code, the amount of code that they're checking in. The productivity has increased. I also think that the productivity of our employees has increased because we're facing a crisis. People are working faster. Teams are coming together more quickly. Sometimes meetings that weren't meaningful, people aren't bothering to have these meetings. Like, the business is moving very, very quickly now. And I think this crisis is going to teach us lessons. There are different ways of working. There are different ways of being productive. We should probably be more flexible in terms of folks, if they want to work from home 1 or 2 days, or they want to work from a different location. Right now, we are in the middle of the fight, and it's hard to step back and have perspective.
Right.
But I do think that there are going to be some real lessons learned coming out of this crisis. And while it's not fun right now, I'll be honest with you, I think we will be a better company for it, and we'll be a closer knit team as a result of it. And the funny thing about our becoming closer as a team is distance is the thing that's making us closer as a team. And I think we'll come out of this stronger. I'll have some more gray beards over here, but we as a company will come out of this stronger out of a crisis.
Now, one of the big changes in the near future, at least, is that people are worried about taking public transport. Again, fear of the various unknowns. Is that another area where Uber is going to benefit, because people might switch from public transport to more personalized movement?
Well, our view is public transport has to play a significant role in transportation going forward, especially as it relates to avoiding congestion, avoiding pollution, et cetera. We have seen some evidence early on that there's been some switchover of public transport to Ubers. As you said, there's some people who are nervous, and they're rightly nervous about transportation going forward. But we want to be proponents of public transport. And we're actually building technology to power public transport in some cases. And also, for example, when you launch your Uber app, for us to show public transport choices.
So is there any part of the world where the number of Uber rides daily has actually bounced back to the pre-corona era?
We are getting very close in, for example, Hong Kong. It's getting very, very close to pre-corona levels. We're having positive now volumes in certain countries, not quite at pre-corona levels, but positive volumes as well. You look at New Zealand, you look at Australia, for example, even France, the uptick in business is looking quite healthy, essentially as those countries and societies open up. So I'm pretty optimistic.
And what's the situation in India? Not yet back to pre-corona levels? Is it still much lower here?
I think India was a little slower to be affected and is a little slower coming back. But I'll be honest with you, some of the tough calls that, for example, PM Modi has made, those are necessary calls, because you want the response and you want the rebound to be a lasting rebound. You don't want the up and down. And to some extent, you see it in the United States. You could argue that there are certain states that opened up too quickly, that weren't careful. They're a little too carefree in their opening. And I'm optimistic about India. Yes, it is slower than some of the other countries, but I think the care is warranted.